Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another video that I've been saying I was going to film for a while now, and I'm sitting down and I'm filming it, and I'm super excited because a few people did request this video when I mentioned it, I think in my school supplies haul maybe. So yeah, this is going to be how I study for psychopharmacology. I'm super excited. I got a method that works for me. Just a disclaimer, this method may not work for you, so just kind of take what I say with a grain of salt. You can tweak it if this doesn't work for you. You can do the exact thing that I do and it may work for you, but just keep in mind that not everyone learns the same way and people do things differently, and that's okay. So if you want to see how I study for psychopharmacology, then just keep on watching. Okay, this is my big psychopharmacology binder. So I did a video on how I organize myself for the semester. I will annotate that. I don't even know what side it's going to be on. It's just, it'll pop up. So, in that binder, I keep my lecture PowerPoint notes. So, and I do the same thing for psychopharmacology as well. And then I outline my textbook, which I will have a video on that as well. This video will probably be up before that one, so I will link that as well. Don't mind my broken nails, I'm getting them done tomorrow. But yeah, so I outline my book and then I print out the PowerPoint notes. So this bad boy, this is a 2-inch binder, and I just have tabs in here, and behind each tab is going to be a different drug. So if you don't know, psychopharmacology is the study of drugs and behavior. A lot of people tend to think psychopharmacology is the study of just psych drugs. We do go over psych drugs, but we are studying different kind of drugs. So we're studying alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, stimulants, cocaine, amphetamines, opiates, antipsychotics, hallucinogens. We're going over all of that. So the tabs separate each individual drug. And then, so in the beginning of the little tab, I guess in the front, is going to be the lecture PowerPoint that we went over in class. So I do print out another one for this binder, and this is just on cocaine, amphetamines, and related stimulants. So I print out this lecture PowerPoint, and it just literally has everything in here, and then this is the part that gets a little bit different. So what I do is I basically bought like a sketchbook. It's just, you know, with blank pages on it, and I go through the book, and any graphs or anything that I know I will need to know, and also just different things that I need to know, go down on here. So for me, repetition is key. That's how I remember things. So that's why I kind of do this step. So I put what it is at the top. So this is cocaine, stimulants, and other amphetamines. And then this this chart right here is just the different types. So it has the generic names, the brand names, and like any type of slang. So cocaine, there's no brand name obviously, and then slang is coke, crack, freebase. Amphetamine, the brand name Adderall, Benzodrine, or Benzodrine, and then slang is bennies. Methylphenidate, the brand name Ritalin or Concerta, and the slang is vitamin R. So and then down here is just another chart, types of cocaine and routes of administration. So crack, freebase, cocaine is the form, and then the method is smokable. So, and these were just like graphs and charts that were in my book. And then if you flip the page, I always write down, no matter what, I write down the pharmacokinetics of the drug, which will be how it is administered. So whether it's oral or injected, how it's metabolized. And then I talk about how, you know, it's excreted. So that's the pharmacokinetics. And then I always write down the mechanisms of action. And sometimes there will be like a graph, hold on, like this, that shows like it's kind of like a therapeutic index chart. Sometimes if they have those, I'll jot those down. And then I always do the acute effects at low and moderate doses, the acute effects at high doses, and then effects of chronic use. So and that is literally how every tab is. It has the PowerPoint and it has those written notes in there, and each chapter kind of depends on each chapter will depend on like any graphs or anything that I draw. Like some chapters or some drugs that we go over, like alcohol, don't really have too many graphs in the textbook, and then others like cocaine, amphetamines, and stimulants have more graphs. And he does kind of want us to know like the drugs that go into the category, obviously. So those graphs are very important in the textbook as well. And when I study, I literally just take this binder and my outline notes, which is in a 5-subject notebook, and that's what I study. And I literally just kind of flip through everything multiple times, because at this point I've already outlined, I've done these like extra sheets that go in my binder on top of lecture in class. So it has been a lot of repetition. So at that point I kind of know the material and I'm just brushing up on it. So that is why I kind of do this little method. It does seem like a lot, but for the most part I will outline my notes from my textbook in class while I take notes from lecture. So I kind of keep up with everything at the same time. And I'm kind of, as I'm outlining my notes, he's lecturing, I'm writing down extra things he says, as well as getting the extra information from the book. And it just kind of sticks in my head like that. I know some people are not going to be able to function like that. Like they have to focus on either lecture notes or outlining. So if you want to outline the same day or as soon as you're done with the class, that works too. It is also recommended that you go over your notes, not exactly like right after class, but the same day, so that your brain is kind of like absorbing the materials and you don't just lose it. I know some people do use note cards for pharmacology or psychopharmacology. I bought note cards to use for psychopharmacology, but that method did not work for me at all. I did not retain the information that way, so I stopped using note cards. You do have to find the best method of studying for this class. It is a lot of memorization, so that's another reason why repetition works so well with me. Is it is a bunch of memorization. You have to find like little mnemonics or different things that will help you remember the drugs and different things that you need to know about the drugs. So you again have to find what works for you. Note cards may work for you and note cards did not work for me, so that's just something to keep in mind. Our exams in this class are multiple choice, so it is a little bit easier in the sense that you can kind of do a process of elimination for the most part. If you have somewhat of an idea of, you know, what's going on, you can do a process of elimination, and then, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to kind of have to know the material to select the correct answer, unless you're a really good guesser. But for the most part, the exams aren't too bad in the class. Again, we cover a ton of chapters, and then he throw up all in the exam, so we do have to know a lot of material for the exams. But the exams are manageable. Like I said, I do go over the material multiple times before I actually sit down and study for the exam. I do study for my exams a week in advance. Even if the professor isn't done lecturing, I do that for all my exams. I go over the information that I already have and start studying that, and just add on the extra information once my professor finishes lecturing. And that's just kind of how I operate. So, and again, just repetition works for me. It may work for you. Outlining the notes, taking notes in class while the professor is lecturing, doing these extra graphs and different things from the book. All of that just kind of helps me retain this information and learn it. Can I sit here and spit drugs out at you and their names and their chemical names and generic and all of that? Not every single drug, but I can kind of spit some drugs out at you, but yeah, not gonna do that. Okay guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I will answer them. Again, I will have my how I outline my textbook video up. It'll be after this video, so again, I will link it somewhere. It goes on one of these sides, and then I will link it down in the description box as well. Okay guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Also, comment down below any video suggestions that you have, and I will see you guys in my next video.